Picture this. You are a young maiden in Constantinople. The year is 897. You've been summoned to the Grand Palace, not as a guest, but as an offering. The marble corridors stretch endlessly, glittering with gold mosaics of saints. Yet your footsteps echo like a prisoner being led to judgment. A handmaiden whispers that tonight you'll be presented to the emperor himself, Basil II, a ruler feared on the battlefield, yet infamous in his private chambers. Your body stiffens. This is not a celebration, it is a test of loyalty, purity, and submission. Behind the jeweled curtains, laughter swells from courtiers who treat this ritual as entertainment. You're reminded of the warnings murmured in the marketplace. The palace isn't just the center of power. It is a labyrinth of desire, humiliation, and secrets that never see daylight. Each step you take draws you deeper into a game where women are pawns and men sharpen their power on your suffering. You are no longer yourself. You are an object in the empire's most secret theater, one that has broken countless before you. And yet you're forced to walk forward, knowing that to resist is to vanish forever. The chamber doors swing open, and the scent of burning incense mixes with something heavier perfume masking fear. You are not alone. Dozens of women stand arranged like statues, their silks shimmering under torchlight, their eyes hollow. They have been chosen, one by one, from noble houses, monasteries, and even the distant provinces. This is no courtly gathering, it is a living catalogue, the emperor's unspoken archive of possession. Whispers ripple through the ranks. Some of these women were taken as teenagers, others plucked from marriages that no longer pleased the throne. A eunuch strides past, carrying a parchment where names are recorded and crossed out with a casual hand, as though these were not lives, but expendable entries. Then, a horn sounds, and the atmosphere shifts. Basil's entrance is not grand, but suffocating his eyes scan the room like a butcher assessing cattle. Each woman straightens, pretending dignity while knowing her body is no longer hers to guard. The courtiers chuckle, trading wagers on who will be chosen tonight, as though this violation were sport. You realize this is not merely lust, but policy, an empire maintaining control through humiliation. And as his gaze lands on you, the weight of centuries of silence presses down. You understand that the chronicles of power never record the screams that happen behind these walls. You are led forward, the eunuch's grip cold on your arm, and the line of women parts like a tide. The throne looms at the far end, its gold surface glowing in the torchlight. But what chills you more are the eyes fixed upon you. Senators, generals, and bishops lounge nearby, pretending to debate politics while feasting on the spectacle of your fear. This is no private audience, it is theater, designed to remind the empire that power extends into the most intimate corners of life. A court poet begins to recite verses comparing Basil to Zeus, while women like you are likened to sacrificial maidens of myth. The words wash over you like poison. Mythology here is not metaphor, but justification. As the poem ends, a servant steps forward, tearing the veil from your face, and the crowd erupts not in applause, but in murmurs of appraisal, as if your worth could be weighed in coin. You remember the stories. Women who refused ended up in cloisters, their tongues cut to silence rebellion, or disappeared into convents where no prayers could erase the shame. The emperor's hand rises, signaling silence. His gaze lingers, heavy and calculating. And in that stillness, you understand that tonight is not about desire alone, it is about conquest. A reminder that the empire's body is his to command just as surely as its armies. And now, you are to become the symbol of that domination. The ceremony begins with a ritual so twisted it masquerades as tradition. You are ordered to kneel on the cold marble, your forehead pressed against the imperial seal carved into the floor. A priest, draped in sacred vestments, mumbles blessings that feel less like prayers and more like chains locking into place. Around you, the women shift uncomfortably, their silence a warning. Compliance is survival. A chalice of wine is brought forward, but it is not offered. It is poured over your hair, staining the silks at your shoulders, marking you as chosen prey. Laughter ripples from the courtiers, their jeweled rings clinking against goblets, as though this humiliation were entertainment crafted for their pleasure. Then, a nobleman steps forward, holding a strip of parchment that details your lineage. He reads aloud the names of your ancestors, not to honor them, but to remind you that your bloodline itself has been seized, absorbed into the empire's appetite. The chamber swells with mockery, voices chanting like a grotesque chorus. You feel stripped not just of clothing, but of identity, as though centuries of heritage have been reduced to a spectacle. Basil does not speak. He watches, his expression carved from stone, the silence more terrifying than any command. You realize this is his true art, not the sword, but submission, bending every soul in his reach until they are too broken to remember what freedom once meant. The ritual shifts, and suddenly the chamber becomes a stage. Musicians strike their lutes with a frantic rhythm, and dancers swirl across the marble, their movements a grotesque parody of celebration. You are dragged to the center, forced to stand as the spectacle's centerpiece, while torches flare brighter to illuminate every trembling breath you take. The courtiers begin to wager openly how long you will last, how swiftly you will break, whether you will cry, resist, or collapse. Their voices rise like vultures circling a dying beast. Then the eunuch places an ivory mask over your face, painted with a frozen smile, as though to erase the horror twisting your features. You realize the mask is not for you, it is for them, so they may consume your suffering while pretending it is joy. Basil remains motionless on his throne, but his silence feeds the cruelty, granting permission without uttering a word. One by one, officials step forward, offering tokens at his feet. Coins, jewels, promises of land, each gift a bribe for the privilege of degrading you in some new way. The room spins with mockery and spectacle, until you no longer feel like a person but a sacrifice dressed in silk. Every heartbeat screams for escape. Yet you know that escape is impossible, because this chamber was designed not to entertain, but to erase, turning living women into silent echoes that vanish into history's shadows. The mask presses against your skin, suffocating, trapping your breath as the chamber grows hotter with torchlight. A herald announces that the trial is about to begin, a cruel tradition disguised as entertainment. You are handed a goblet, its rim smeared with bitter herbs, and ordered to drink while the court watches. The liquid burns down your throat, and the laughter that follows tells you this was never wine. It is part of the ritual, a potion meant to cloud the senses, leaving you unsteady, vulnerable, easier to mold. The crowd leans forward, eager to see your collapse. A bishop raises his hand as if in blessing, but his words sting with mockery, declaring that purity is nothing unless it bends before imperial will. Around you, the women who once stood proud now avert their eyes, each one a ghost in waiting, each one a warning. You try to anchor yourself in memory, your mother's voice, your village's streets, but the sound of chains clinking behind the curtains drowns them out. The guards drag forward another girl, younger than you, her face pale with terror, and set her beside you like livestock in a market. You realize this ordeal is not yours alone. It is a cycle, repeated night after night, a factory of submission that feeds the empire's appetite. The horror is not just in what happens, but in the knowledge that it has happened before and will happen again, unrecorded, unchallenged, swallowed whole by silence. Your knees buckle as the potion courses through your veins, and the mask slips, revealing the trembling beneath. The courtiers erupt in cruel delight, as though weakness were the climax they had paid to witness. Basil finally stirs, raising a single finger, and the chamber falls into silence. With that gesture alone, the air thickens. Every eye is on you. Every breath feels borrowed. The eunuch kneels at your side, pressing the mask back onto your face, whispering that resistance will only prolong the torment. You glance at the younger girl beside you, her tears carving rivers through the powder on her cheeks, and something inside you shatters. You understand that this is the moment they crave, not your body breaking, but your spirit folding. One step of surrender, and the empire claims victory not just over you, but over every witness forced to watch. A drumbeat begins, slow and steady, echoing like a heartbeat, and the guards move closer. You want to scream, to claw, to fight, but the silence of the other women weighs heavier than any chain. Their hollow eyes warn you of the cost of defiance. And in that crushing stillness, the truth coils around you. Survival here is not measured in courage, but in how much of yourself you are willing to bury, piece by piece, until nothing remains but the shell they demand. The night drags on, but time loses meaning within those walls. When dawn finally bleeds through the high windows, the court disperses as if nothing monstrous has occurred. The nobles laugh, trade, gossip, and boast of alliances, stepping over silken rugs, still stained with spilled wine and tears. You are left standing hollow, the mask dangling from your hand, your body marked, but your spirit carved even deeper. The younger girl is led away, her fate sealed in silence. And you understand she will soon vanish, as countless others have names erased, voices muted. Basil descends from his throne at last, his gaze brushing over you like a shadow too vast to escape. He does not speak, for he does not need to. His silence has already rewritten you into submission. History, you realize, will never tell this part of the Empire's story. It will speak of victories, of splendor, of divine right, while the suffering beneath those gilded halls will dissolve like smoke. And yet, as you stumble from the chamber, one thought lingers. Perhaps the true power of an empire is not measured in battles won, but in the quiet destruction of those it forces into forgetting. That silence, heavier than steel, is what survives through centuries echoing still, in shadows where truth dares not breathe. If you have enjoyed this far, I hope you don't mind tapping a like and subscribe button. Comment below where you're listening from. Don't forget to subscribe for upcoming stories like this. Love you all. Have a great day.